establish the theory of evolution. His theory was not accepted, and nowadays it continues to be rejected by the scientific community. Lamarck was born on August 1st in 1744 in a small town of Baxentin in northern France. He was the 11th child of an aristocratic family. He served to his country military force in the Seven Years' Wars. After he got injured in the war, he decided to start a new career in botany. He wrote Lamarck for François, and in 1801 he published Système des animaux sans vertébrés, in which Lamarck explained the difference between invertebrates and vertebrates.
Lamarck's theory consisted in giving traits to an organism's offspring by the traits that an organism acquired across its life until the time it breeded and made an offspring. Basically, is to say that if the phenotype is modified, it makes a direct change into the genotype of that organism and is modified. So in result, the offspring of that organism with its phenotype modified will show up into the next generation and will continue and so forth across, creating evolution with different traits being acquired. To make this easier, we'll use an example with giraffes. First, we have a giraffe that has a really short neck, and it tries to reach out for leaves of a really tall tree, but it can't. As it tries to reach out for the leaves, a fluid will be passing through that giraffe's neck, making it longer. And its offsprings will acquire that exact trait that the giraffe obtained before it made it. Basically meaning that, let's say that it stretched from 15 centimeters to 30 centimeters. So its offsprings will have 30 centimeters. And as time passes on and evolution happens on the giraffes, their necks will eventually become as long as they are today. What triggered Lamarck was the fossil records he examined. And as he observed them, he started to understand that nature was not fixed from a beginning point, and that as the environment changed, then the organisms also had to change. Lamarck was seen as a buffon for making such a theory. Even though it was not that different from what is proposed today, it still gave some good context, but quite poorly and briefly, in how animals turn out to be like they are today, in comparison to Darwin's theory of evolution. Lamarck didn't explain extinction. The organisms just became more complex according to his theory, which didn't make much sense. Also, if you were to make an experiment, let's say you have a rat, and you have that rat with its tail cut off. So basically, according to Lamarck's theory, what would happen is that its offspring would more likely be having a short tail than a longer tail. But what it actually made it fail in Lamarck's theory is that the offspring will actually still have a long tail, no matter if about the parents, either one of them having its tail cut off or not. Lamarck explained several parts, but what Darwin did better was explain many holes left out by Lamarck, like how exactly traits were acquired, how organisms actually changed, how some variations just died, etc. Darwin explained through the genetic code, by molecules and variations of mutations in the DNA, and if any of those mutations turned out good for the species, then it had a bigger impact in the survival of it. If it failed though, it just died and became extinct, explaining why several species just turned out to not continue expanding or continue to grow out in the fossil records.
Even though Lamarck's theory was wrong, his ideas still were in the right place, and he is known as a scientist with many achievements.
What did throughout history was the Darwin theory, and is known as the father of evolution.
While Lamarck died December 18, 1829 at age of 85.